How's it going, Rogues Gallery? Today I am incredibly stoked because we're talking about React, the Arts of War, and we're going to be answering the question, well, what is this and should you care? And I think a lot of you out there will care. I think this game is incredibly cool and we're going to talk all about it today. We're not going to do like a gameplay thing. They already have a bunch of gameplay and how to play videos, but this is going to be my opinions of this game and why I think you should pay attention to it, or not, depending on your preferences. React, the Arts of War, very intentional with the naming there, is a 1v1, I'm going to say a card battler, but not everything uses cards. It's actually very interesting, and it has a really cool and uniquely flavorful setting where artists basically channel their art into attacks, and then you attack each other. So there's like a painter, a calligrapher, someone who does like, you know, street tagging. It's actually really cool. And well, I'll give you the TLDR real quick and then we'll kind of break it down a little bit. The Cliff Notes version of my opinions on React, the Arts of War, is that I would recommend this game to anyone looking for a complete premium experience with tons of hours of gameplay, varied gameplay across 8 to 10 different unique characters for $100 or less. While it comes in like this giant board game style box, it doesn't really function exactly like that because the game is really easy to learn and set up. And it's not one of those games where it takes like an hour to learn as you're flipping through like dozens and dozens of pages. When we get to the product examination, looking at the rulebook and all the components, we'll kind of showcase what I mean here. But it's not one of those board games that just takes forever. It's actually like pretty easy to pick up. Games last about 20 to 30 minutes in my experience. You're just trying to deal 3 damage to your opposing character, and it's kind of like it's got this grid-based thing going on. But it also features, I'm gonna pull this up again, absolutely beautiful artwork. This is actually the top of the box for the edition that Brother Ming Games sent to me. So big shout out to them. They did send this to me for review. But look at this. Even the inside is like beautiful, actual, incredibly high quality artwork. And like I said, this is, I would consider this like a premium experience. In fact, the biggest praise I can give to React is that it reminds me of some of my all-time favorite like complete experience card games, right? We're not talking about trading card games. We're talking about box sets that have complete experiences. Not exactly board games, but kind of treated like board games. Like Blade Rondo here that we featured on the channel before. Gun and Gun, and a classic, Sakura Arms. And I would compare React to all of these games. And these are some of my absolute favorite games just to play that exist outside of the TCG industry. And that's literally the biggest praise I can give to React. It reminds me of these 3 games. These 3 games, by the way, that I just mentioned are all games that were originated in Japan, and they got English translation and localization, while React is a completely brand new game, which I think is really, really cool. So, with all of that said, let's go ahead, go to a top-down view, and check out all of the components. And we'll talk about different variations of it, but I do want to mention, at least before we get into that, that there are 2 main versions. There's kind of like the standard version and like the deluxe version. And the most expensive is $100, which is the deluxe version. We'll talk about what it comes with. And the standard version is $60. And at that price point, for a complete experience, I think is very, very good. You can compare this to most other games of the similar ilk, like the ones I just showed, and they have similar price points. And if you're coming from the TCG industry, think about that in terms of deck cost as well as like booster box cost. You're paying $100 for the most expensive version, and you have a complete experience. You never need anything else again, and you have, you know, 8, 9, 10 decks depending on what you get, and you have a lot of variation and a lot of gameplay and all this great stuff. So I think the value is definitely here as well. So without further ado, let's jump to a top down and check out all the components of React, the Arts of War. All right, so here is the box proper. As you can see, this one is the collector's edition, and we'll talk about what that is versus what is the deluxe edition and the standard edition. I mentioned there was basically 2 editions, and that is the case, but I think the collector's edition is exclusive to the Kickstarter, which is basically no longer available, but the deluxe edition is basically the same thing as this, with a couple different changes. Once again, we'll talk about that. I also want to just mention once again, give a huge shout out to Brother Ming Games for sending this to me, and also the artist, good friend of mine and the channel, Animator, because she's the one who kind of like tipped off Brother Ming that I might enjoy this, and I just want to give a huge shout out to her and Brother Ming for sending this to me, because yes, I very much do enjoy this, and so it's just kind of like one of those random things that happens, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. So, yo, shout out to both of y'all. All right, so like I mentioned from the start, this game oozes premium quality, and that's one of the reasons why I immediately agreed to kind of like check the game out once they emailed me, because I kind of have like a smell test, right? I go to their website, see what they have going for it. If they have a Kickstarter or something, I check that out, and there's a couple key things that I look for, and this one kind of hit them all on the head. They had a beautiful, amazing trailer. Let's open this up, by the way. I could talk and open this at the same time. That a beautiful trailer that was very well voice acted. They have their website looks very, very nice. The art is gorgeous, and the gameplay looked really good. And from what I could see, everyone who was playing it was very much enjoying it. So here we have the inside of the box. Obviously, I've already opened it up, and everything is put together and all that kind of stuff. I have played several games of this with my partner, and yeah. But when you do get this, it comes kind of like a standard board game thing where everything is on like a punch out, like 3 big punch out sheets and all of that kind of stuff, and we have it all organized. These are the 8 standard characters and decks and all that kind of good stuff, and then here are the extra 2. The DJ, like I said, they're all artists, but they're all different kinds of artists, which I think is super, super cool. The DJ is like an extra that you get for the deluxe version, and the storyteller, which is beautiful, in partnership with Level 99 Games, one of the publishers who actually published one of the games that I showed off at the beginning, the kind of the Sakura Arms reboot. They did that. But anyway, so this one is exclusive to the Kickstarter. I'm not sure how you get it other than the Kickstarter. And I do actually kind of like this one quite a bit. So we'll talk about that as well. And then we can break down everything else that this comes with. So let's just kind of, once again, just the fact that they have like this beautiful art just on the inside of the box, it tells me that they really care about their game and that they are really proud of it. And those are all hallmarks that I look for when checking anything out. Because if someone makes something and they're really, really proud of it, it's a really good indication that they made something worthwhile. And so, yeah, that's another one of the things that, passes my smell check. All right, so we have the rule book. We have all of the different characters and artists and all that kind of stuff. We have some play mats, and we have some other stuff. This is some stuff that comes in the standard version. We'll talk about that as well. So first of all, they have a rule book. It's a very, very nice rule book, and I'm actually very impressed by this rule book. I love this rule book. I love it when games do this. So first of all, it's presented very, very nicely in a very, very nice way. I mean, coming from TCGs, where a lot of modern games don't even have rule books at all, this is so nice to see. So it has all of the credits, and it has a nice little table of contents. But once again, I'm going to reiterate that this has that premium quality. And what I mean by premium is, it just feels top notch. It feels top quality. It feels like they put a lot of love and attention and care into this. And that's what I mean by premium quality. So you can see like the components. This is kind of like your standard components, by the way, not the deluxe edition components. The deluxe edition components will have the neoprene rubber playmats, as well as it will have acrylic standees, as you can see here. Acrylic standees, deluxe edition only. We have the deluxe edition. We'll show off the acrylic standees. We'll talk about that as well. I really like them. I think they're really good. Tells you like some card breakdown, reference sheets of cards. We have setting up the game. It's pretty simple. And then how to play the game. So the how to play the game is just this one sheet. And then all of the other pages after this kind of break these down, right? So you have like the masterpiece phase here, and it breaks down kind of what you do. It has the draw phase, main phase. I really like the draw phase because both players draw every turn, which is it's just really cool. The game also has a react chain, very similar to trading card games. So if you are watching this and you're a regular viewer, you're going to understand this 1,000,000%, right? If you played Magic the Gathering, if you played Yu-Gi-Oh, any game that uses a stack or a chain, it's basically the same thing, except for in this game, you are limited to 5 on the react chain. So someone plays a priority card, and then you can do reacts, and your opponent can do a react, and then you can do a react, and so on and so forth, up to 5 times. Then you have like taking damage, having summons. Summons are a big part of this game. You do have your standee, like your little acrylic standee, but you can move them around and that kind of stuff. But certain characters have like summons, and they really kind of like work along with that. And then here's like the end phase. There's a QR code if you want to scan it right now. Go for it. And then the rest of it is just like glossary, which I also very much appreciate, as well as all of the like Kickstarter backers at a certain tier, as well as the Patreon supporters. So yeah, I love this book. This is great. This is kind of like, in my opinion, exactly what a rule book should be. It's very clear. It has it's full color. It's beautiful, and it does a great job. So I don't typically talk about games like this on the channel, but this is something I really look at and I really appreciate. And I always harp on TCGs when they have no rulebook at all. So yes, great. All right, let's take a look at the components. And so, as I mentioned before, these are the 8 characters that come in the standard version, and then you get the DJ in the deluxe edition, and as well in the deluxe edition you get all the acrylic standees, which we'll show, and then you also get the 2 playmats. So let's go ahead and we'll bust out the playmats. I love that they all just fit nicely back in this box. You even have a ton of extra room here to kind of do whatever you want with. These we'll talk about these in just a second, but they're just more components essentially. So let's see. So as you can see, this game follows a grid-based system, and so let's kind of pick it up. Oh, that's heavy. That's real. I did that with one hand, but yes, you get a lot of stuff in this, right? It's, I would say, like good board game fare. So we have this playmat, once again, absolutely gorgeous artwork, as well as the opposing playmat with different characters and artwork. Here's the painter. She's one of my favorites for sure. She just summons like big celestial deities and like holy beings, and just lays the smack down. She's got like a sword. She's cool. I also like the Calligrapher and the fortune. There's a lot of ones I like. I like the fortune teller is really cool too. So yeah, get the 2 playmats so you and your buddy can play, and then obviously they would be faced opposite of each other, and then that way you can track certain things along the side. One of the things I would definitely recommend is, and maybe this is just because I'm a little bit extra, because I'm like this with a lot of everything that I do, especially things that I really enjoy, like games, like tabletop games, TCGs, all that kind of good stuff. I'm a little extra. I would recommend the deluxe edition because you get the really nice playmats, which is obviously a huge bonus, but you also get all of the acrylic standees as well. So let's take out every single one of these, and we're going to kind of like do a little quick breakdown of all of these before we kind of close out the video. As well, we'll check out these ones too, even though they're more limited. The DJ one at least is one that you can get. All right, and so here's the inside of the box. Once again, excellent quality. Even the inside of the box has a very nice, piece of artwork on the inside. Like I said, they just really care about it, and it shows for sure. I'm just gonna set that down, and now we can actually get into a lot of the meat of it. So all of these are what you would get instead of the acrylic standees if you just get the regular version, right? So these would be your pieces that you would move around instead. So, yep, that's what you get. This one is from the Animator, I think. I think this one is it 120 FPS Sama or something like that? We'll talk about that when we get to the Animator, but he's got 3. The Animator has 3 summons, and there's like 30 FPS Chan, 60 FPS San, and is it 120 Sama? I don't know, something like that. And then these are kind of little markers for the chain, right? And so you'll have both, you know, this up on both sides, starting with 1, 2, 3, up to 5. I have the acrylic versions as well as the, where's my, there we go, we'll just do that. Oh, this is the 5, bro, there we go. Hey, I can do it. I can do it. All right, so what this is essentially is these are going to go on the sideline here, and it will denote cards here up to the ones on the opposing side. So it'll have 4 and 5 kind of like, you know, over, as I stretch to do it, like way over there into your opponent's side. And what you do is when you play your intent card, you put it right here, and then your opponent can react to it, and so you can kind of build, like literally build out the chain. So it's a little bit more clear for folks who aren't into TCGs and don't just, you know, can have it all easily, you know, visualized. And if a card has a directional component, like, oh, you know, move it to a certain direction or whatever, you can move this to kind of show what the actual direction of the card is. So you're like, oh, I'm doing an intent card, and its effect is going to be, you know, north for me. You can move it up like that. Yep, so that's what this is. Yeah, just really clear. Like I said, I think this game on the surface level is pretty easy to learn the mechanics. What makes it complicated is you have 8 characters and classes, 10 if you have the full shebang. So I have 10 here. Basically 9 if you get the deluxe edition. So you have a lot to play with here. This is not a game where it's not a deck builder, right? You just pick which one you want to play with and you go from there. But because there's so many, you have a ton of different options and a ton of different, like, different ways to play the game. And I think there's a lot of replayability here. So let's just kind of show off, we'll show off some of my favorites first. So this one I mentioned, this is the Painter. I really like on these little boxes here, not only do they just contain everything inside, but they fit nicely in the storage box, and they can kind of be a little primer for someone who's new to the game. And you can be like, hey, my buddy, pick out a character you like, and you can kind of be like, oh, okay, how hard is it to play? What's the complexity of it? I really like the Fortune Teller too. And so you can see the Painter, they have difficulty 1 and complexity 2, which is one of the reasons I chose to pick them as the first character that we played, because, well, it's an easier experience. So the Painter says a resource management dice allocation character. So this character actually uses a bunch of dice with powerful late game scaling. So this is dice and summons, I would say, are the 2 big things for the Painter. Recreate powerful holy relics to launch attacks and deflect blows. She has a bow and a shield and a sword. Survive the early game and transform into the Holy Angel Gabriel to rain down holy justice. So I think the bottom one is kind of like a flavor thing, right? So you have difficulty, complexity, and then maximum faith. Whereas like the Fortune Teller here has difficulty 5, complexity 3, and motivations unknown. Ooh. All right. So let's kind of open this up and check it out, just to show you some of all the components inside. And we'll go ahead and do this for all the classes because we're checking this game out. We're giving a good pace. So here are some of like just kind of like the rough breakdowns, as well as their abilities and the setup. This is where the game gets complex. So the base rules are pretty easy. You play cards, your opponent can do reactions to them. But every single character plays differently and has a different setup and a different number of cards in their deck and all of this kind of stuff. Some of them use dice, some of them don't. So that's where this comes into play. And I think it's really cool because there's a lot of mechanical depth to it. So yeah, I'm not going to read off all these. It would take forever, but I just kind of want to give you a visual representation of what we're going to be talking about and checking out. So here's the bottoms of all the acrylic standees. And then for the painter, like I said, she has a sword, a shield, a bow, and then here's Gabriel, and then the painter herself, which is very, very pretty. And so these just are, they're acrylic standees, right? And so this is what you get, one of the things that you get extra in the deluxe edition versus the regular edition. So the deluxe edition, like I said, is $100. And the difference is you get the 2 playmats, and you get the acrylic standees, and you get the DJ. You get the DJ. So for $40 more, you get all this stuff. I think it's worth it. I think the acrylic standees are very cool, and they let you have this really nice experience where you're moving around your standees. I like it. I think it's really cool. And so, like I said, some characters have, I like the sword. Some characters have, summons as well. So she's kind of like fighting around, and you also have your summons. Some characters don't have any at all. Some of them have a bunch. Some of them have a lot of cards in their deck. Some of them don't have very many. This one I think has 10 total cards. 7 ability cards and 3 masterpiece cards in her deck. And you can see like the Sword of Valor, the Bow of Hope, Shield of Peace. These cards I think are really cool. Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. And I mentioned this before, but the goal of the game is to deal 3 damage to your opponent. That's it, just 3 damage. But there's different ways to do that. This one, it gives you a breakdown here. It says, I am a prodigy blessed by the heavens with the power to recreate blessed holy relics. As long as I can preserve, my prayers will be rewarded with the presence of my guardian angel Gabriel. Basically, live long enough, and then you can play Gabriel, and he'll do the killing. He'll do the killing for you. Using my shield to block and my bow to dodge, I simply need to hold strong in my faith. Once Gabriel descends, my enemies shall know heaven's wrath. And then on the back, which I think is really cool, there's like FAQs and tips. So if your opponent is going to be playing against this, they can also read this as well to kind of give you some tips, which I feel is really really useful. Painter preference gives you some little, or painter reference gives you a little reference sheet. And then like facing the painter. So yeah, I love how each of the decks comes with this kind of like, here's the play style, here's some tips, and then here's what you do if you're playing against the painter, which I think is great. And then here's the painter herself. Beautiful. Painter Ascended. Cool. So really, I'm going to try not to spend too much time on all the characters. I just kind of want to give you a breakdown. By the way, the painter uses dice for a lot of their attacks and shenanigans, whereas, well, you'll see what we have in store for all of the other characters, but very cool. You know what? We'll leave just to kind of showcase this a little bit, we'll leave the standee out. All right, I mentioned it before, let's talk about the Animator. So, the Animator, difficulty 3, complexity 2, number of all nighters. I feel ya. There's no, like, YouTuber here, but I'm kind of with you, my Animator brethren. All right, so the Animator, as you'd guess, also uses summons. They do not use dice though, but they do have like other little markers. So here's some of like the other little markers, and you kind of set up markers and you do shenanigans with that. That's kind of like the breakdown of the Animator here. Here's the art, very cool. And then here's some of the animations. Where are they? Yes. 12 FPS Chan, 24 FPS Kun, and 60 FPS Sama. There we go. I thought it was 30, 60, and like 120 or something like that. But yeah, here's the punching frame, throwing frame, back to the drawing board, and then we'll kind of read off the little blurb about each of them, just to give you a nice little idea. So it says, as an animator, meticulous planning is essential. I must carefully chart out any potential future actions. When I decide to act, I can only execute the animation frames I've strategically positioned on the board. My Victoria storyboard hinges on employing the throwing frame to position my summons within striking range of my opponent and applying relentless offensive pressure with each of my turns. As the narrative evolves, I must return to the drawing board, which is back to the drawing board, and reposition my throwing frame thoughtfully to maintain my offensive momentum. So it's not a you have access to most of your cards at all times, depending on each character, but yeah, once again, they have like the facing the animator tips. Here's the animator ascended. Yeah, excellent kind of stuff. And then of course, the acrylic standees. You get 12 FPS Jan. Whoop, as I drop it. Yeah, look at that. Excellent. And then of course, the animator himself, which he will manifest and become you know, one of the ones that we have here on the board. Come on, I know you can fit. I played with you at one point. All right. So let's shelf the animator for now. We'll kind of go. Well, I said we'll go in order, but I kind of want to just randomly grab some of them. You know what? Let's do. I really like her as well. So this one is the Calligrapher. So she's a spellcaster with limited mobility, but potent board control abilities. Difficulty 4, complexity 3, absolute territory maximum. Master the art of summoning seal brush spirits and swiftly encircle and assail your opponent. Enjoy ink splashes to strategically manipulate target positions and inscribe your path to victory with unwavering precision. Maybe we'll just read this to save a little bit more time, but I definitely want to show everything off. So the Calligrapher also has summons. I did mention not all of them do. We'll get to some of them that don't. So here is the beautiful Calligrapher. I think she's the character that's in the trailer. I think it's upside down actually. So you have like Silver Spirit, Summoning Ink. Her deck is a little bit, you know, more robust than the other two that we've seen. So she actually has a lot of. She's so cool. She has a lot more, you know, stuff going for her, which is why she's a little bit more complicated. We have all these Summoning Ink cards. Calligrapher preferences and the play style. And once again, I think we'll just read off the back blurb, just to save a little bit of time. But she's all about board control and summoning her inklings. They're not called inklings, the spirits, right? And then of course we have more little ink counters. And then all of the inklings. I keep calling them inklings. The spirits. We have the spirits, as well as the beautiful Calligrapher herself. One of my favorites. Just aesthetically speaking, I think she's very, very pretty. So yeah, she will stand tall as we go through all of them. I just kind of want to give you an idea of all of the characters. So you have the best possible idea of figuring out if this is something that, you know, it's going to interest you or not. So let's go from like the Calligrapher to something like wildly different. Let's go to, I think they call it the Tagger. So this is like the street artist, basically. You know, this is the Tagger, an aggressive player phase combo character that rewards going all in when the time is right. Tag the board with your magical murals that empower anyone who steps into them. Teleport from mural to mural and slam your enemies to the ground, which sounds awesome. I have not played with this one yet. I've only had time to play a couple rounds. So I definitely haven't played with all of them. I do like the Storyteller. So the ones that I played with that I very much enjoyed, I played with a good handful of them. So I played with the three that we've already talked about, as well as the Fortune Teller and the Storyteller. Those are the ones that I've played. And my partner played with, what was this? Played with this dude, Sculptor, as well as a bunch of the other ones that I played, including the DJ and the Dancer. So there's a couple that we haven't quite experienced yet. Anyway, so here's the Tagger. Tagger's got like awesome like art and you know, it's the Tagger, of course. So here's the Tagger. Very cool hair. I dig it. I wish I could pull off cool hair like that. I just got my long hair look here. That was backwards. Yeah, really cool stuff here. So tagger preference. These cards are all jumbled. I apologize. The tagger ascended, and then here's the regular tagger side, and then the playstyle. Yeah, body speed and always on the move. Like I said, it's got that teleport mechanic, which seems like really cool. Like, it seems really cool. It also seemed fairly, what do they say for complexity here? Difficulty 3, complexity 1, style maximum. Yeah, for sure. It says it's low on complexity. Maybe this will be the next one that I give a shot. It sounds really cool. I like the idea of being able to like teleport around. And then of course we have these, which are these the teleportation? When an artist or summon on the board moves into this zone, they draw a card. Ooh, okay, that seems good. When they move into this zone, they deal 1 damage to an adjacent zone or this zone. Ooh, interesting. And then this one is when it moves into this zone, they may move an artist outside of this one space. Oh, interesting. Cool. I think these are kind of like things that you put on the board that are kind of like, they feel like traps or something like that. Yeah, excellent. All right, so that's the tagger. Put him here. All right, let's take a look at the fortune teller. We mentioned this already. Difficulty 5, complexity 3, motivations. Play cards face down on the react chain and guide your opponents to their own demise. This is one of the reasons I really like this. It's very sneaky. You know, it's got that kind of like mind games aspect, which I think is cool. Can you actually see the future, or are you just that good at manipulating your opponent's thoughts? Yo, I dig it. I dig it quite a bit. Also, she's very pretty, so that also helps too. I'll be honest, that's the reason why I chose to play her initially, because I was like, yo, let's go. And then she's like, oh yeah, she's also got all this crazy mind game stuff going on. So, also, she just has the one standee, just like the tagger. Beautiful standee here. Here are some of these that you kind of play around with here. And then once again, the playstyle. Predicting the future is often a fool's errand, but discerning a person's intentions can be as straightforward as understanding their true nature. Yeah. So if you like kind of like the mind game aspects, and also just having an insanely beautiful character, well, there you go. This is another one of the characters that has like a fairly large deck size, whereas we saw with most of the other ones actually they had not too big, just a couple cards access. So yeah, Bottomless Cup of Fate, beautiful artwork. I didn't mention this, but all of them have their own unique card backs too, which I think is also pretty cool. So that is the fortune teller, all about the mind games. And as always, very cool. The rule books and all that kind of stuff. They try to make it as like apparent as possible. All right, so here we have the Sculptor, a tactical summoner who deploys an army of little clay buddies. Another one. You can tell by the heft of the box. To surround your foes and sacrifice them to achieve their goals. Combine your little buddies to make adorable giant buddies and crush your enemies under your army's weight. Difficulty 3, complexity 4, maximum friends. I mean, they're a Sculptor, right? They make their little dudes. So we'll check out this Sculptor, who has an absolute army of things. Not a ton of standees, but they have these little tokens. These are the little buddies, right? These little punch-outs are the little buddies, and these are your big chunguses. Oh lord, they coming. And then of course you have the sculptor himself, which is also gonna maybe, my luck with getting these in is a little hit and miss, but I think we got there. Okay, so let's check out the Sculptor's cards real quick as I knock them over. Oh look, our giant buddies. Yo, yeah, I really like. Hold on, let me set the big card aside. I do really like these panorama cards. Hold on, how does this one go? It's like this. There we go. Yes, there we go. I do really like those like panorama cards. We have the Sculptor. Your oh lord, they coming. And then actually a pretty decently sized deck. Once again, awesome artwork on all of this stuff. And I just kind of want to once again reiterate the amount of variation and flexibility between all of the different characters and the decks and all that kind of stuff. Because when you buy a board game or something like this, that's one of the things that I personally like to look at. What's the replayability of this? It's one of the reasons I really love TCGs, is because I feel like TCGs have almost infinite replayability because new sets keep coming out constantly. Whereas I didn't put these in there. Well, we'll leave the standees here, but this is a game that has a lot of replayability. Just the sheer number of characters and how unique they are, that feels very different between all of them. Here's the Tattooist, tattoo artist, a master of blood that doesn't fear pain. You can't take damage, but you must protect your precious bunnies from all harm. Grant your bunnies different tattoos with your blood ink to reactivate your powers every turn. Difficulty 3, complexity 3, maximum bunnies. She's beautiful. Yeah. All right. Let's check out the Tattooist. So this is another one that has a bunch of summons, because you got your bunnies, yo. You got your buns, and you got your tattoo artist. So here's the Tattooist. Excellent. And then here's the deck here with the Tattooist. Velocity Tattoo red, Intensity Tattoo blue, Menace Tattoo green. Yeah, very, very cool. Components list. Here's the play style. Yeah, it's all about the bunnies, protecting your bunnies. You want to protect your buns. Bell Ringer's late arrival. And once again, we'll flip through the cards. I think this is a really cool one. This is one where like you can use your it's a little bit different mechanic, right? Where you're trying to protect your bunnies rather than protect your character, which I think is cool. I think I really love how each of these has their own distinct flavor and own distinct mechanics. And here's the buns, the bun buns. There we go. And a couple different colors of the buns. Yeah. So we'll set these all back in. The fact that it's taking this long to go all through all this, I think should just show how much stuff this game has to offer. And it's one of the reasons I really like it so much, to be honest. I love that it just has so much going for it. We played it a bunch already, and there's a lot more to dive into. Characters that I haven't played yet, replay characters that I've already played, try different strategies. Here is the Dancer, by the way. So the Dancer says, exude grace as you effortlessly blend agile melee combat with gorgeous summons. Glide through the battlefield with incredible mobility and leave behind magical scales that can strike foes or summon stunning dancing fish. Difficulty 2, complexity 1, maximum fish. So if you want to just kind of like run around and be generally annoying, this is for you. And I've found it to be quite difficult. So here we have the Dancer. Nice. And then we have the little scales that he leaves around. And then we have the fish. Maximum fish. Once again, this is a deck that is it's a robust dex. 25 scale tokens. The Dancer. And then of course here's the deck and the setup. Dancer Ascended. Dancing fish. Yo, I heard you like fishes. He reminds me of... Who does he remind me of? He reminds me of... It's someone from either a fighting game, maybe? Let me know in the comments. Pivoting Step. If you're here this far and we're at the Dancer, let me know the let me know. Yeah. Pivoting step. Look at that. He does not skip ab day. He does his crunches. He does his crunches. Do crunches help with abs, bro? I don't know. I got the physique of a trading card game player, because that's what I am. I just put him back in. What am I doing? No, I didn't. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Yeah. So those are like the base. Those are the what come in the base set, right? The $60 base set does not come with the playmats or the acrylic standees, but it'll come with, you know, everything else we've shown so far. And then you get the standees and this extra class of the DJ, DJ is very cool in my opinion. DJ, drop beats on your own turntables, triggering different effects for each beat on drop and on kill. Maneuver your flying speakers across the board in order to use the power of constructive interference to blast your opponents away. Difficulty 3, complexity 1, sick beats, max. He's got max sick beats. Very cool. All right, so let's check out the DJ. From the right, the DJ has a bunch of stuff too. Yeah. So DJ's rocking a bunch of beats here. So we have the big DJ card, 4 beat tiles. The DJ, very cool. Here is one of those speakers that you can yeet at your opponents. Yeetable speakers. Here's the records and the turn that you can like turn around, turnstile. Spin it up. These are really cool, actually. I really like the flavor of these. And then you have them on your boards, right? Yeah. But once again, very cool. The flavor and mechanics of this, it's just like, I love that it's just so different between all the characters. This one, another one with a very robust deck. Here's the DJ. DJ Ascended. Left speaker, right speaker to yeet, electric slides, track switch, bunch of those, encore, spin back, and then we have the components list, as well as all the you know, how to beat the DJ. Yeah, excellent. Looks awesome. But yeah, I really love like this the turn. It's called a turnstile. Maybe. Record player, man. I don't know. I'm old. I'm just old. Yeah, very cool. And then we'll standee up the DJ. Also, very, very cool. I mean, that's one of the things that just kind of stood out to me about this in general, is that all the characters are just very cool. And then finally, this one is a Kickstarter exclusive level 99 collaboration of the Storyteller. And it's got a lot of like Alice in Wonderland style vibes. Manipulate the masterpiece zone and progress your masterpiece multiple times each turn to go through the chapters of your story. Build your story to a climax of unavoidable damage to finish your tale. Basically, this one is all about doing your masterpiece. Difficulty 2, complexity 3, happily ever afters, maximum. And then collaboration with level 99 games. So let's take a look. This is one that does not have summons, but it does have a decent deck of cards here. So here we have the beautiful Storyteller. Excellent. Here's the acrylic. Once again, very, very cute. And then we have these tiles that you can place down, and they do various effects. An artist inside this zone draws an additional card during the draw phase. Very cool. An artist inside the zone draws an additional card during the draw phase. And then you have all of the components. And as you can see here, definitely has like this sinister Alice in Wonderland kind of Cheshire Cat nonsense going on. So here's the Storyteller, and then Ascended, beautiful. And then we have Absinthe Arrows. We have Shimmer of Madness. Once again, very, very like Wonderland-esque. Art is so cool. Look at that. She looks awesome. Plot Hook. Hello, Wonderland. Hello, World. Cat's Cradle. Color Spray. And then Wear Light, I believe is the last one. Yep. Yeah, very cool. I dig it. And then once again, it has its own unique card back. I didn't show them all off, but hey, if you buy this, you can check them all out for yourself. And that is the final deck and character out of the 10. Once again, I do believe this one is Kickstarter exclusive. So I'm not sure how you would get this outside of it. Maybe they'll have this available later on, but I think it might have just been a Kickstarter kind of exclusive thing. At this point, I do kind of want to start talking about my final thoughts on this game, and that is, I really, really like this game. I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be one of those games, just like Gun and Gun and Blade Rondo and Sakura Arms, where if I have a friend over and they're like, "Hey, you want to play a game?" This is a one that we can definitely pick up and play for sure. There's so much variation. If I'd be like, "Hey, you want to play one of these games?" You're like, "I don't know. I kind of want more of like a a mini style game." Well, this is a great one for it because you have your acrylic standees and you can like move them around. I also want to mention that they do have this on Tabletop Simulator, if you want to check it out on Tabletop Simulator. And I don't remember if they have a print and play kind of thing, but definitely check it out on Tabletop Simulator. I know that one exists for sure. And once again, if you don't get the the deluxe edition with all the standees, you still have things to move around. They'll come with these instead, which these are fine, right? You can move them around the board. But I'm kind of extra, and I like this. I like the acrylic standees. So yeah, that's gonna be React. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I really enjoyed this game, and I don't often talk about non-TCGs on the channel, but when I do, it's ones that I think are really worth it. And at the end of the day, final verdict: yes, I think this is worth picking up if this is something that looks appealing to you, right? At the price, I think is a good point. I think $100 is for the deluxe edition is kind of where you want to be. You can go for the cheaper one if you want to. If you don't really care about the acrylic standees or the play mats, you can definitely go with the $60 one. But for $100, which is the price of most trading card game booster boxes, a single booster box, you get a complete premium experience with literally like dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of hours of gameplay and, mechanical depth and complexity across a bunch of different characters. And so yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you all so much. This was a really fun video to make, a very fun game to play, and a big shout out to Brother Mean Games for sending this to me. I appreciate it. It's always great to be, tuned in on a new game that I haven't heard of before that ends up being really cool. So yes, thank you. This video is kind of long already. I appreciate it, everyone. We'll see you later. Go tell some fortunes, or paint something with your sword and shield, or go maybe not advocating for do it now.